fact, today is actually a very auspicious day. And yesterday we started in Vrindavan and all the places, the Julana festival has started. That was yesterday. It is supposed to go for 5 days. So that means this is going to go until August 3rd, I believe. So yesterday and then today and then 3 more days. So then today we have disappearance of Srila Rupa Goswami, disappearance of Srila Gauri Dasa Pandita, and disappearance of Srila Govinda Dasa. All these 3 you all know very well, especially Rupa Goswami, you know a lot. But the other one also we have really covered in the various Harikathas. Now, so let us just quickly talk about the Julana. Every year there is a 5-year festival all over Vrindavan called Julana Yatra. What they do is at the time, this Vijaya Vigraha, that means there is a small deities of Sri Radha Krishna, are swung by hundreds of thousands of devotees, Brajavasis, in various temples or homes and homes in all the places, and on a beautiful swing attached to long ropes. So in the month of Shravana, that is actually supposed to be the rainy season, the clouds in the sky begin to make a thundering sound and extremely fine mist-like rain drizzles everywhere. The atmosphere is very, very beautiful and pleasant after the heat of the summer months. At that time, all the forests of Vrindavan begin to bloom. Many types of flowers on both sides of Yamuna, such as Beli, Chameli, Jui, Madhavi, they all begin to bloom. So the bumblebees will look here and there and chant Radhe, Radhe, and the cuckoos also called out Radhe, Radhe. So the peacocks and peahens call out KK, KK. You know, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Who is Krishna? At the time of Shravana, everything becomes green. The summer was dry, but now the rain has come and everything has come to life again. All the young brides, okay, this is important. Young brides, all the married, those girls who are actually married, they all will be taken to their, to their own home. So basically they will be, because they will be living in their mother-in-law's home now, but their brothers, they used to come and then take them to really go back to their father and mother's home. So this is how it goes. So Srimati Radhika was still at her in-laws' home in Yavat. However, because of her brother Sridama had not come, much time passed and finally he arrived there on the full moon day with some clothing and ornaments to pacify Srimati Radha's mother-in-law, Jatila. Seeing her brother Srimati Radharani wept, "Oh my dear brother, why have you come so late? Only a few days remain of this Ravana month. Why did you come too late? Did you forget me?" Srimati Radharani was then happy that he anyway left Yavat and went to Varshana, where that is also known as Brishavanupura, with her brother. And there she met together with all her Sakhis, her intimate friends, as they all had returned to their maternal homes at that time. It was very beautiful meeting and reunion in the place of their child, because in the places where they had so much of childhood play were happening. So the Sakhis made a Julana. That is how the Julana Yatra really came into picture. So they really all made a special Julana swing for Radharani and Krishna. They always make the swing on a Kadamba tree and not on a Tamal tree. Why? Tamal tree represents Krishna. It is blackish color. But Kadamba tree is more of yellowish color. Yellowish or brown, not black. And also Kadamba tree is very, very famous, and then it is really much more stronger and very beautiful to see rather than Tamala tree. So they always tie a very nice swing on this Kadamba tree. And that is basically what it is. So this is something long time back, this was always my dream to really make a big Julana, really very big Julana. today is also disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami. So Srila Rupa Goswami, actually there are three auspicious days: disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami, then disappearance day of Srila Gauri Dasa Pandita, and disappearance day of Srila Govinda Dasa. So who is Rupa Goswami? He is actually his eternal Swarupa is Rupa Manjari. So in fact all the Gaudiyas who really have the Madhurya Bhava, they are actually supposed to be coming under Rupa Manjari. Okay, so that is why we are also called Rupanuga. Okay, so there is something more there. So we all will be serving to Srimati Radharani. And in fact last year we all had a chance to really visit Vrindavan, and especially one place which is actually, it is in the heart, my heart all the time is, and we all liked it, is the Ther Kadamba. Why I am telling about Ther Kadamba today? Because in this place there is a bhajan kutir of Sri Rupa Goswami. So on this day, I am just bringing that into the memory. In fact, this is the place he has composed many of his scriptures, many of them. So, and this is also the same place where Gopas and Krishna, they all come to herd their cows. And Gopis actually, they also come via this place. And in fact, there is a lake. That is a place, after selling their yogurt, everything from the pot, they will clean the pot here in this lake and then go. And at the night, because there are so many Kadamba trees, many Kadamba trees were actually planted by our Gurudev. Actually, many of them, because they are all, got some kind of extinct. So our Gurudev personally, by his hand, he planted so many Kadamba trees. So we can see them there if we really go. So at night, Krishna climbs on the Kadamba tree and calls the gopis and there is also a nice rasa dance place. So this is, the Ther Kadamba is always in the big memory, and that also is very much connected to Srila Rupa Goswami. And in fact, Srimati Radharani used to come every night. She comes in disguise as to really God. Srila Rupa Goswami was staying alone, and because this place there are so many robbers, so it is really very, very dangerous. So Srimati Radharani personally used to come to really protect her own Manjari, right? So also at this place last year, the Maharaj, which actually we got so closer, in fact. So he showed a manuscript. It was the original manuscript, handwritten by Sri Rupa Goswami. What you are seeing is right there. That's what you are actually seeing there. Okay. So if he is not, Rupa Goswami is not appeared in this Kali Yuga, we would not have really got anything really. In fact, if you go to Vrindavan, this what you see is Rupa Goswami's Samadhi Mandir. Now if you go, there is a big building over it. Big building over. So there is actually Bhajan Kutir, and also opposite to that is actually his Samadhi Mandir. It's a very famous place. This is located in a very, 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 very wonderful temple called Radha Damodar Temple. In this Radha Damodar Temple, this is actually very old black and white photograph, where you can see at the center, Srila Prabhupada is right there. Because Srila Prabhupada was actually living in this Radha Damodar Temple for quite some time. And in fact, what you will see on the right side, where one devotee is coming out from that room, that is the same room where Srila Prabhupada was actually staying, in fact. Okay, so here he translated the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and there are so many other books also he wrote. And our Gurudev used to visit him very often, and they used to really prepare chapatis together and then offer to the deity there. There are so many deities also, wonderful deities there. And in fact, you are actually also seeing another picture where Now here Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada is actually giving giving lecture to his devotees. And now if you see, for him it is very easy because he was staying in the same place, same temple, and he just walks, just not even a minute walk. That's it, not even a minute. That's it. You just cross and the samadhi is right there. There are so many samadhis of high devotees. So many, and in fact our Gurudev's Pushpa Samadhi is also there. This is, you can see that in front of Jiva Goswami Samadhi, opposite side is actually our Gurudev Samadhi is there. So it is really so wonderful that when he was translating so many books, every chapter he writes, he submits that, he reads that to Guru Varga, especially Rupa Goswami. He says, please correct my mistake. Have I really written everything right? Or if there is anything wrong, please let me know. So this is how he was interacting. And in fact, many times Rupa Goswami used to give his darshan and communicate with Srila Prabhupada in this particular temple. Very same temple. He has seen, because even like there are so many places that you can actually read about these kind of the darshans that actually coming, especially from Rupa Goswami, of course from Guru Varga also. So it is very important that when you have the Guru connection is very, very critical. So he received so many instructions from Srila Rupa Goswami. Now, in memory of Srila Rupa Goswami, on his exact day of appearance, I would call Madan Mohini and Damodar Priya to sing this special song composed by Srila Rupa Goswami.
Hare Krishna. Today is the disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami is the topmost acharya in our parampara, and hence we are called Rupanuga Bhaktas, after Srila Rupa Goswami's name. Srila Rupa Goswami has composed many scriptures which are the foundations of the Gaudiya Sampradaya, and due to his immense engagement in bringing the Bhakti Shastras under the guidance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Rupa Goswami is called as the Manobhishtam of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today, we would like to sing a composition by Srila Rupa Goswami, Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Radhe Jaya Jaya So, what is the meaning of this wonderful bhajan composed by Sri Rupa Goswami? The meaning of the first stanza is, O Srimati Radhika, O beloved of Madhava, you whose glories are sung by the young maidens of Gokula Mandala, all glories to you.
The meaning of the second stanza is, from the effulgence of the tips of your toes to the top of your head, your artistic dress and entire appearance increase Damodar's loving attachment for you. O Queen of the Forest of Vrindavana, O pleasure garden of Sri Hari.
The meaning of the third stanza is, just as the moon was produced from the churning of the milk ocean, the same is Vrishabhanu Maharaja's affection for you. O dearmost friend of Lalita, you who have captivated the heart of your intimate Saki, Vishaka, with your charming qualities of friendship, kindness, and loyalty to Krishna.
The meaning of the last stanza is, O Karunamayi, all compassionate one. Even Naishtika brahmacharis, ones who have renounced everything like Sanaka and Sanatana, meditate on your transcendental qualities and character. O Sri Radha, bestow your kindness upon me.
Thank you and Hare
Wonderful,
Krishna.
yeah, that was good. So looks like Damodara Priya was reading from the back of Nanda Kishore. Is something taped there? There you go. All right. That's what it showed because we could see that clearly. Good job, whatever you did. Amazing. Srila Rupa Goswami will be really happy. Rupa Goswami ki jai. Good, very good. Okay, so now if you see, in our life, there are only two things which are necessary. There are only two, right? Guru Varga. You have to have association with devotees, especially through Guru Varga and Radha Krishna. So Guru Varga is connecting to Krishna, Radha Krishna. Other than that, what you need in this life? Nothing. That's the only things that you need. Now, also today is a disappearance day of Srila Gauridasa Pandita. Gauridasa Pandita is believed to be Subal Sakha, a Gopa of Lord Krishna. So he was living in Ambika Kalna. I am not going to go through the whole story, but I will give some highlights. Before taking sannyas, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they actually visited Gauridasa Pandit in Ambika Kalna. This is a place that I could personally visit. I think I really told many times. This is still, I remember that I am somehow living in that particular village. That village is so fascinating. I mean, I don't know, I got so fascinated. Not even with other places in Navadvip, but this place is really very, very special. And so when Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu visited his dear devotee, Gauridas Pandit, why did they come? Because before they take sannyas, they wanted to say, bye, I am really going to go, change my life forever. So he just wanted to meet before he wanted to take the sannyas. And they were actually staying here for a few days. Then after that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu said, now it's time for us to go back. So when they say, all right, okay, we have to go back, Gauridas Pandita got so much affection with the Lord. He did not want lordship to move at all from his home. So he was begging and crying. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't worry, because we cannot stay here. We will make ours into Murti, deities. And then you really take care of them. That's all. You can talk with them. They will actually talk to you. You really give whatever that that you really give Naivedyam. They will accept, and then they will stay here. So they manifested their own deities of their size, their height, life size. Right? Yarn neem. It was actually manifested as a neem tree, like made of neem tree. And then they left. There were a lot of other drama. I don't want to go through, because they were actually, because the deities and then the actual personalities. He could not make a difference when the deity was staying, and then the Nityananda Prabhu and then and Mahaprabhu were leaving. He said, no, you stay here. Then he said, okay, all right. Now we will stay, then the deity go or something. So they were actually making play, and then finally, Gauridas Pandit totally got lost. Which are the deities and which are the actual personalities? Of course, in fact, for Vaishnava there is no difference. There is no deity and the Bhagavan. There is no difference, in fact. So then finally Gauridas Pandit got the deities, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu left. Gauridas Pandit worshipped Gauranitai in many intimate ways, talking sweetly to them. They always have the discussions. Them, again, the deities were actually offered Naivedyam, and they were actually consuming it. And they had discussion on Shastras also. So it was really so different life. But then one day what happened was, because he was poor, Gauridas Pandita is actually very poor. So he was thinking, oh, these deities, there is no decoration, there is nothing there at all. I have to arrange some ornaments, but where will he get it? He was very poor. So he was thinking. And then one day he was actually, sleeping with his very, very concentrated, these kind of desire. And next day morning when we came, deities were having wonderful ornaments all over the place. Earrings and these things, so many things here and there. Then he was wondering how. Then he asked the deities, where did you get it? Where did you get all these things? He said, we arranged. Then the deities responded back, we arranged by ourselves, because you wanted us to wear nice ornaments, so then we really took care of it. So we arranged it. So this is how it is, the interaction was. And one time, Chaitanya Dasa, that is actually Gauri Dasa's foremost disciple, he organized a huge Sankirtan festival on the bank of the Ganges. Enraptured by the Kirtana, Gauridas Pandit's deity jumped off. Okay, jumped off there from the altar and joined the devotees in chanting and dancing. Discovering the deities that are missing from the temple, Gauridas Pandit actually grabbed a stick. So he ran away to really bring the deities back, because if they run, I have to bring them back or something. And so now he was angry because because the deities ran away from the home, right? So in his angry mood, Gaura and Nitai just like that vanished from the dancing. And then at that moment, Gauridasa watched in amazement that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nitai, those two deities were actually there in the heart of his disciple called Chaitanya Dasa. So he got amazed. He just embraced, and then you are the topmost devotee. And then, he really gave the name as Hridaya Chaitanya, because, those deities really got inside the heart. Hridaya Chaitanya. And then after that, magically again, these deities reappeared back again in the temple, and the worship continued. So if you go now, the deities are not probably, I don't know, unless you are actually very high devotee, I don't think the deities are actually going to talk to you. But the deities are as normal deities, that's how now they are behaving. So, however, when they really give arati, do the arati and everything, every minute they will close and then open. Like that in the Bangi Bihari temple also, Vrindavan also same thing. Okay, because this deity has a history of running out. Whenever whenever they like someone, some devotee who is really lovingly call them, immediately they will actually jump out. So this is because of that, they don't want to lose the deities and then again try to find where they landed up. So they will open the curtain for just within a minute, then after that they will close again. Then after some time again, they will open, again arati, they will close. This is what, one pujari will be just doing this same thing back and forth, closing and opening, closing and opening. Then also, who is this Srila Gauridasa Pandita? As I mentioned, he is Subal Sakha Prabhu. Subal Sakha is one of the very, very dear Sakha or Gopa of Lord Krishna. If you go to Vrindavan, you can see his Samadhi Mandir in Vrindavan. So actually, if we had more time, I probably wanted to really sing this song saying, Devadi Deva Gaurachandra Gauridasa Mandire Devadi Deva Gaurachandra Gauridasa Mandire, because they too became deities in the Gauridasa Mandira. So that mandir, if you see on the left top, that is the same mandir. We were there, I was there too. It's amazing. And they have a lot of treasure, because it is not going to be shown to everyone, but so luckily, because of the luck, they really showed the paddle that was used by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu when they were rowing the boat to cross the Ganges to come and visit Srila Gauridasa Pandita. Same paddle. I touched it. I touched on that too. They want, it's all inside the, locked this dryer. I mean, just closed. And also, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu apparently revealed some missing slokas of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. He said, Bhagavad Gita, you got only 700 slokas or whatever it is. It is not everything. It's not everything. So here are the missing slokas, which you don't have. It's there. His own handwriting. I saw with my own, eyes. Then I was asking why you don't really, publish it. He said, no, we don't want to really even take it anywhere out. That's it. We want to keep it very, very secret. It is there. I saw. Okay. Now, also today is a disappearance day of Srila Govinda Dasa. Everybody will know this song, Bhaja Hure Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. So his disappearance day is also today. According to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in his early life, Govinda Dasa was actually a Kali worshipper. Durga Kali worshipper. He and his brother, his brother's name was Ramachandra, were both initiated into Vaishnavism by Srinivasa Acharya. Now Govinda, the Kaviraja also resided first in the Srikanta and then Kumara Nagaraja. I mean, they were traveling all over. Okay, later then again they moved to another place called Telia Butari on the southern bank of river Patma. Patma River is a place where where Narottama Das Thakur actually received that treasure of Prema that was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that same Padma River. So he actually wrote some books also, and in fact he is a very good poet. The way he was really composing like poems, so Srila Jiva Goswami came to know, and he read that, and he gave the title Kavi Raja. So basically, so here Srila Govinda Dasa is actually what? Srila Govinda Kavi Raja. That is what the name is actually. So that name was given by Jiva Goswami. He was an excellent poet. He was so Pajagore Mane. Mane is basically something that actually our Srila Prabhupada really I love that this bhajan as well. Okay. So when Jiva Goswami said you continue composing more poems, then he really went ahead and then composed many of them, and in fact many poems about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and also about Sri Radha Krishna. Okay, all right. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Yashodanandana Jaja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Jaja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So now we are resuming back to our original program. Actually, which already half an hour is gone. So what I will do is I will go through only probably few topics actually today. So we were covering 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the part 1, I was giving the background about Srimad Bhagavatam, and part 2 we really covered only about creation, and now we are actually going to continue for that as part 3. So as we mentioned again, I am really putting that back again. Bhagavad Gita starts with war and ends with Saranagati. Srimad Bhagavatam starts with Saranagati and ends with Nama Sankirtan. And Chaitanya Charitamrita and all the Gaudiya scriptures, they take from Nama Sankirtan and they give Krishna Prema. Okay, so Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, those three are the three things that we really covered in the last class. So today I would like to cover Poshanam, that is protection by Lord, and Uddaya, which is creative impetus. I thought of doing Manvantara, different manus, but today because we don't have that much time, we will cover only 2 things. Then the other things like Ishanugata, science of God, Nirodha, the dissolution, Mukti, that is liberation, and Ashraya, supreme shelter, we will cover as we go. Okay, so the 4th topic is Poshanam. Poshanam means protection by the Lord. Protecting means what? There are 2 things to be protected. Normal jivas and importantly the devotees. Okay, so protecting the devotees is very important for the Lord, and then comes secondary is the other jivas. Now if we see in one way, protecting the Lord is directly done by the Lord himself, but protecting the other jivas is done indirectly. how jivas are protected? Because Mahamaya takes care of the jivas. Here jivas, I mean Baddha jivas. Baddha jivas, who are the Baddha jivas? Those jivas who really turned their face away from the Lord, and so that too wanted to enjoy the material world. They were interested in enjoying the Maya than be with Krishna. So that is why all the Baddha jivas are here. And now only by Guru's mercies, they all can be really taken back again. Otherwise they will be lost. Brahmanda Brahminte Kona Bhakivan Jiva Guru Prasade Paya. So this is the situation. Until that particular the fortuner, that fortune comes, Baddha jivas are completely tortured by Mahamaya. In fact, it is called protection. But in the spiritual meaning, it is actually torture. Because she gives the lesson as a jailer, beating the jivas, one suffering after another, so that they will be forced to learn the supremacy of Lord Krishna and about the spiritual world. That is the job of Mahamaya. She is doing a very good job of that. Right? But the problem is, all the Baddha jivas, they have natural inclination to worship Mahamaya. For see whom you should avoid, but they start worshipping. This is all to ulta logic, reverse logic. See, this is the situation. Now, if we take this Mahamaya, she arranges everything so nicely. Every jiva is arranged for their foods. Everything, everyone. Because only human beings are the only one. They thinking that whatever that one earns, even millions and millions of dollars, they think that they are still need more. Okay? So that insecurity is there only in the human beings. But every others, all the birds and all the, if we take any animals, they are getting their food without any problem. But they are not bothered. They get it. They are arranged. The same way Lord has arranged our food also. Our survival, everything is arranged. But we think, insecure. 1 million is not necessary, not enough. I need more. Suppose something happens. Suppose something happens to our children. Suppose something with this. They imagine so many things as if they want their family and children, and they are really trying to arrange their own way of thing. Only human beings. But these kind of birds and animals, they won't do that. You just you see how greedy that a human being is. Very simple to test. You take a big sack of rice and take it to the street and keep it on the street, and then in the night and come out. You know what will happen? Somebody finds out that there is a big sack of rice is here. You know what he will do? He will take the whole thing along with him. That's it. He will take. He won't share with anyone. Suppose the same one, you really keep it in a forest where there is no human being. All the birds will come, eat only whatever is necessary for that. Then it will call others to come. You can see crows and they will call others. Please come. You have some food here. Okay, take. But what happens to our human beings? That doesn't happen. That is why human beings are really very, very bad situation. And now if you see, one being becomes a food for another. This is a very secret thing that you have to understand. Mahamaya, in fact, arranged in such a way, okay, Agastani Sagastanam, Apadani Chatuspadam, Palguni, Tatra Mahatam, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. One jiva becomes a food for another jiva. Those who are devoid of hands, Agastani Sagastanam. So one who are devoid of hands are prey for those who have hands. Those who are devoid of legs are prey for the four-legged. Apadani Chaduspadam. Padam. Then the Palguni Tatra Mahatam. The weak are the subsistence of the strong. Whoever is strong, they will eat the weak. They will, right? They will, kill or whatever, because for their survival, they will eat those who are weak. And the general rule holds that one living being's food for another. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One jiva is the food for another jiva. That is why the scientists say that, this is a food chain, cycle, this and everything. Yeah, it's all arranged by the nature like that. This is the way. And not only that, Mahamaya also takes care of population control. Now there is a good population control going on around the whole world in the name of COVID-19 coronavirus. So these are all something. See, the thing we think that all of a sudden, no. Everything has a purpose, and this all under the supremely who is in control. Lord Krishna is in control. This Mahamaya, all those who are really running the government, running the planets, all the material worlds, they are the ones directly they are actually doing this. But all the things are thought and by Lord Krishna. By his will only everything happens. So Mahamaya also takes care of the population control. A systematic law of subsistence in the struggle for existence is there by the supreme will. And there is no escape for anyone by any amount of planning. Whatever you may plan, but you have a lot of limitation. It's not completely in your hand. The living beings who have come to this material world against the will of the supreme being are under the control of the supreme power of Maya Shakti, Mahamaya, the deputed agent of the Lord. And this Deva Mai, or Deva Maya, Maya Devi, he's meant to pinch the conditioned souls by so many threefold miseries. What are they? Miseries from our own body and mind, and miseries from others, and miseries from gods and nature. We hardly have any control of these. Especially the nature, what will you do? It's totally out of control. But our earth is so tiny in the creation. Many gods run everything so perfectly. Those gods are so powerful. But you may ask the question then, how powerful is the Supreme Lord? Look at here, so many gods are running the show. So many. In our own Brahmanda, there are 33 crore, that means 330 million gods are running just one Brahmanda. And how many Brahmandas are there? Unlimited, mind-boggling. And how powerful that the Supreme God, whose mere will everything happens, to protect the bhaktas and the worlds. Bhagavan also comes down as avatars. Okay? So this is what? So there are 6 kinds of avatars of Lord Krishna. He comes here for what? To protect his devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. Okay, in Bhagavad Gita he really says that. But it's not just one purpose. There are so many reasons that he is doing it. So these are the 6 kinds of avatars. Purusha avatar, Manvandhara avatar, Guna avatar, Leela avatar, Satyavesha avatar, and Yuga avatar. Now, people really saw avatar, they say Tasa avatar, 10 avatars. There are unlimited Leela avatars. Out of that, they picked 10 that happened in this Brahmanda recently. That is what they are calling. Basically, this one Chatur Yuga. That's the thing, they picked 10. Unfortunately, they really picked up Krishna also as an avatar, because he actually came as similar to an avatar. That's why. Okay. So these are all different kinds of avatars. Purusha avatars, Manvantara avatars, Guna avatars, Leela avatars, and Satyavesha avatars. And Yuga avatars. Right? Now, who is Krishna? Yete chamsa kala pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.28. All avatars are the parts and parts of the Supreme Bhagavan. However, Only Sri Krishna is the original Swayam Bhagavan. Yete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam. Krishna is the only Swayam Bhagavan. From him, all the avatars and everything is really coming there. But once in a day of Brahma, he himself comes to really visit Brahmanda. But that happens only once in what? Once in a day of Brahma. And that is 4.32 billion years. And that happened 5,000 years ago. And all the other times, it is not Krishna who is really, Swayam Bhagavan who is going to come. Who may be coming in the name as, because Krishna is a general name. Krishna means it's actually all attractive. So God, any avatar is also attractive. So he comes there. So there are 3 Purusha avatars are there. Mahavishnu, Karana Dosaka Sai Vishnu, from whom all the universes are all emanating from his pores. You see at the top left. That is Mahavishnu. He is actually expansion of Krishna, direct expansion of Krishna. Then Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is the Vishnu from whom Lord Brahma actually comes out from the navel. Where did this Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu to actually come? He comes from Mahavishnu. And then also Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. He is the one who is involved with the milk ocean. Lot of Sampradayas talk about milk ocean. So this is Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. He is the only one who is actually lying on the milk ocean. So Mahavishnu and Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, or simply they call Vishnu, and Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is also called Paramatma. Okay, so these are the 3 Purusha avatars. For what purpose they have come? This is not to protect the devotees or something directly. This is to maintain the worlds. Because he is the maintainer. Because if you see Shiva is a destroyer, right? Brahma is actually a creator, and then Vishnu is a maintainer. So he has to maintain by whatever that is necessary to be done. Then every Manvantara, okay, there is 14 Manvantara, 14 Manvantara. Every Manvantara there is also specific avatars there. Yajna, Vibhu, Satyasena, Hari, Vaikunta, Ajita, Vamana, Sarvabhauma, Rishabha, Viswakshena, Dharma Setu, Sudama, Yogeshwara, Brihadbanu. So these are all actually Manvantara avatars. Manvantara means which we will cover next week, what it is. Because every one day of Brahma is divided into so many Manvantaras. Okay, that is how it goes. So anyway, these are all related to the Manvantara, which we'll cover next week. Then 3 Guna avatars. Vishnu, Satvik, Brahma, Rajasic. Vishnu, how many Vishnu? 3 Vishnus. They represent Satvik Guna avatars. Right? Brahma is completely for the Rajasic Guna. Then Shiva is Tamasi Guna. Then Swayam Bhagavan is also having Leela avatars. There are 25 Leela avatars which we can actually account for in this Chaturyuga. Kumaras, Narada, Varaha, Matsya, Yanya, Naranarayana, Kardami Kapila, Tatetraya, Hayashri, Shirsha, Hamsa, Dhruva Priya, Rishabha, Prithu, Narasimha, Kurma, Dhanvantari, Mohini, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Vyasa, Balarama, Krishna, Buddha and Kalki. If you see the Srimad Bhagavatam or Gita Govindam, Krishna is not going to be listed there as avatar, because all the avatars actually comes from Krishna, as we saw in the sloka. However, he once in a day of Brahma, he also comes by himself as Swayam Bhagavan. That is why sometimes we actually take Krishna as a Purna avatar. Okay, that's actually he's not avatar, he's avatari. Then 4 Yuga avatars. Satya Yuga, there is one specific one. Lord comes in white color. Treta Yuga, he comes in red color. Dwapar Yuga, he comes in black color. That is Krishna. Kali Yuga, black color in general in the Kali Yuga, but there is one Kali which is really happened to be coming next to the Dwapar Yuga, on which Krishna himself coming as Swayam Bhagavan, which happened 5,000 years ago. So this Kali which started, that here except that's called Danya Kali. So in the Danya Kali, he will take yellow. That is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the Kali Yuga avatar for this particular Danya Kali. Alright? So now, I think now the time is already running. So what I will do is, I will cover the this Uttaya also in the next visit. Okay? And I will quickly go through the thing, and then we will sing a bhajan. Okay, so Krishna is a controller of all the controllers, as we have seen, whether so much of creations, so many things are going on. But he is a controller of all the controllers. Who is the controller? That is what people call them God. So gods, there are 33 crores, there are 330 millions gods are there. But above all the gods is Krishna, the Supreme Bhagavan. Okay, but everybody is really running. So many works are going on. Because if you see, so many devas, gods, demigods are running the Brahmandas without any fault. That means Krishna must be so busy in managing all these people. Isn't it? A CEO has to be very, he has to be very busy, super busy in managing everything. Isn't it? Any company, if the CEO is sleeping, then the whole company sleeps. But here, in the spiritual world, just by wishing, everything is taking care. And what is he doing then? Because he is so powerful. What does he do? He does only one thing. No work. No work. Dancing, singing, and whatever that the enjoyment that he is the enjoyer. Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna is a supreme enjoyer. All the jivas or whatever that came from him, we are all his part and parcel, are to be enjoyed by him. He is the enjoyer. If we understand that, and then if we behave in such a way that making Krishna as a supreme enjoyer is the ultimate goal of every jiva. Jivera Swarupakaya, Krishnera Nitya Dasa. If you understand properly that we are servant of that Lord, you got everything right. Automatically you are going to be so happy. All the happiness, everything comes to you. This is the secret. And what is he doing? He is spending time with the devotees. Dancing. See the whole Goloka, if you see that, it is amazingly so charming. Everybody else is running crazy. Running day and night. Lord Shiva is really doing all kinds of, his one job. And Brahma is really chanting so many DNA manipulation and then bringing all the Jivatmas and putting them, planting in the wherever that they are to be supposed to be born, and plants and every Jiva, this and that, everything. They are so busy. Completely busy. Not even a single microsecond is really, they can be free. They are so busy. But Lord Krishna, completely free. He is independent. We will see that. I think tomorrow's class in Deva Dharma. He is Sarva Sudandra. His quality is Sarva Sudandra. He is free of everything completely. There is nothing binding him. So now, he says what he says. I do not want to create. I do not want to maintain. That who will do? Mahavishnu will do that for me. He is floating there and then taking care of all the things, and all the Jivatmas in the bellies and everything, they are all taking care. Why should I really worry about it? I do not want to destroy anything. I want only to be with my devotees. Now, this is what pure devotees are his only attraction. Only business for him is that. And that is what is his topmost devotee. Srimati Radharani. His own Haladini Sakti. She became manifested just to give pleasure to Krishna. That is Srimati Radharani. I would like to ask Yashika to really sing a special bhajan for Srimati Radharani, and then thus we can end the program today.
O Radhe Jaya Radhe महारानी शुभ राधे, ओ राधे जय राधे, महारानी शुभ राधे, ओ राधे जय राधे, महारानी शुभ राधे, ओ राधे जय राधे, महारानी शुभ राधे, मनन मोहन प्रिय राधे, जगन मोहिनी श्री राधे, मनन मोहन प्रिय राधे, जगन मोहिनी श्री राधे, वृंदावन जन राधे, वृषभानु सुसुत राधे, वृंदावन जन राधे, वृषभानु सुसुत राधे, ओ राधे जय राधे, महारानी शुभ राधे, ओ राधे जय राधे, महारानी शुभ राधे, परम दामन प्रेम राधे, पर सखी गण प्रिय राधे, परम दामन प्रेम राधे, पर सखी गण प्रिय राधे, रस लीलन ब्रज राधे, रम्या भज मन दय राधे, रस लीलन ब्रज राधे, रम्या भज मन दय राधे, ओ राधे जय राधे, महारानी शुभ 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 राधे, महारानी शुभ राधे, महारानी शुभ राधे।